The front door shut harder than Emily Carter meant it to. She had just finished a 12-hour shift at the hospital. Her feet aching, her mind tired, and all she wanted was the quiet comfort of home. Seattle rain clung to her coat as she stepped inside, already reaching to kick off her shoes. Then she saw him. A man was sitting on the couch, not just any man, Daniel Brooks. For a split second, her brain refused to accept it. Her body stopped moving. Her breath caught in her chest like she had run into a wall she didn't see coming. Daniel looked up slowly, like he had been waiting for this exact moment. "Emily," he said. Her name sounded unfamiliar in his voice. Softer than memory, but just as heavy. "What are you doing here?" she asked. Her voice didn't shake, but everything inside her did. The living room felt smaller, tighter, like the walls had moved closer when she wasn't looking. The couch they had picked together, the framed wedding photo on the shelf, the quiet life she had built so carefully. Daniel stood up. He didn't smile. He didn't step closer. He stayed where he was, hands loose at his sides. "I needed to see you," he said. "I couldn't wait anymore." Emily's heart started beating faster, not with fear, but with something she had spent years trying to bury. She set her bag down slowly, like any sudden movement might break the moment or make him disappear. "You can't just come here," she said. "You can't just show up." "I know," Daniel replied, "but I didn't know where else to go." She looked around the room, half expecting to see Mark step out from the kitchen and explain this strange scene. But the house was quiet. Too quiet. "How did you even get in?" she asked. Daniel hesitated for a brief moment. "Just long enough. Mark let me in," he said. That landed harder than she expected. Her chest tightened. "Mark. He said you'd be home soon," Daniel added. "He said it was time." "Time for what?" Emily crossed her arms, trying to protect herself from the flood of memories pushing their way back. Daniel wasn't supposed to be here. He belonged to another life, a younger life. One filled with late nights, cheap takeout, shared dreams, and promises whispered in the dark. "You shouldn't be here," she said again, softer this time. Daniel nodded. "You're right." He looked around the room, his eyes taking in the details, the throw blanket folded just right, the lamp by the window, the life she had made without him. "I didn't come to disturb your life," he said. "I came because I never stopped thinking about you." Her throat went dry. She turned away for a second, walking toward the window as if the gray sky outside could steady her. 3 years. 3 long years since he had left without a real explanation. One short conversation. One goodbye that didn't feel finished. She had told herself she was over it. That love didn't vanish, but it faded. That time made things smaller. Seeing him now proved how wrong she was. "You don't get to say that," she said without turning around. "Not after disappearing." Daniel took a slow step forward, then stopped. "I know I don't deserve it, but I never stopped caring." Emily closed her eyes. She remembered the night he left the packed bags, the tight hug, the promise to call. A promise that never came true. "Why now?" she asked. "Why today?" Daniel didn't answer right away. His silence was loud. "Finally," he said, "because I almost lost the chance forever." She turned back to him. "What does that mean?" Before he could answer, headlights swept across the living room wall. The sound of a car pulling into the driveway filled the silence. Emily's heart dropped. Mark was home. The front door opened. Mark stepped inside, loosening his tie, looking exhausted. He stopped when he saw them standing there, Millie, near the window. Daniel, in the middle of the room? For a moment, no one spoke. Then Mark exhaled slowly. "You're both here." Ah! Emily looked at him, confused and hurt. "You invited him?" Mark nodded. "I did." Her voice rose despite herself. "Why would you do that?" Mark set his keys down and walked farther into the room. He didn't look angry. He looked calm, almost sad. "Because I've watched you carry something you never talk about," he said, "and I'm tired of pretending it isn't there." Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "If this is a bad time, I can go." "No," Mark said. "You came for a reason. You should say what you came to say. Emily felt caught between them, like the center of a quiet storm. Say what? She asked Daniel. Daniel met her eyes. The truth. Her hands clenched at her sides. The truth about what? About why I left, he said. About why I stayed away. Mark leaned against the counter, giving them space. I'll be in the kitchen. Emily wanted to stop him, to ask him to stay. But another part of her knew this was something she had to face. Go ahead, she said to Daniel. Tell me. Daniel took a deep breath. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. Her heart skipped. I left because I was scared, he continued. Scared of settling into a life I didn't feel ready for. Scared I'd fail you. And instead of being honest, I ran. Emily shook her head. You could have talked to me? I know, he said quickly. And I hate myself for not doing that. She laughed softly, but there was no humor in it. Do you know how long it took me to stop waiting for you to call? Daniel's eyes filled. Every day I thought about it. Every day I wanted to reach out. But the longer I waited, the harder it became. Silence settled between them again. You don't belong here, Emily said quietly. I have a life now. I see that, Daniel replied. And I respect it. I just needed you to know I never left because you weren't enough. Her chest tightened. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Mark returned holding 2 glasses of water. He handed one to Emily, then looked at Daniel. You've said what you came to say. He asked. Not all of it, Daniel said, but enough. Mark nodded. Then I'll say my part. Emily turned toward her husband. I love you, Mark said to her. But love shouldn't mean ignoring the past. I don't want to be the reason you never face it. Her heart ached at his words. Daniel stepped back. I should go. Emily looked at him. At the man who once held her dreams. At the man who broke her heart without meaning to. Why now? She asked one last time. Daniel paused at the door. Because some chances don't come twice. He opened the door, then stopped. Whatever you choose, I just wanted you to know the truth. The door closed behind him. Emily stood in the quiet living room. Her heart racing, her mind spinning. She had walked in expecting an ordinary night instead. Her past had been waiting on the couch. The silence after the door closed was louder than any argument Emily Carter had ever heard. The house felt different now. Like the air had shifted. She stood in the middle of the living room, staring at the door Daniel had just walked through. Her heart beating too fast for her tired body to keep up. Mark broke the silence first. Sit down, he said gently. Emily didn't argue. She sank onto the couch, the same spot where Daniel had been sitting minutes ago. The cushion still felt warm, and that small detail sent a sharp ache through her chest. Mark stayed standing. I know this is a lot. You planned this, Emily said, looking up at him. You knew what this would do. I knew it would hurt, Mark replied. But I also knew avoiding it was hurting you already. She rubbed her temples, trying to slow her thoughts. You should have trusted me to handle it. I do trust you, he said. That's why I did this. Emily let out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. She looked around the room, at the life they had built together, comfortable, safe, predictable. I didn't ask for him to come back. She said, I know, Mark replied, but he was always there anyway, just not in the room. That landed deep. Emily stood and walked toward the window, rain streaking down the glass. I love you, Mark. I do. But part of me never closed that chapter. Mark nodded. I figured. She turned, surprised. You knew. I felt it, he said. In the pauses. In the way you went quiet when certain songs played. In the way you talked about the past. Emily swallowed. She had tried so hard to hide it. That wasn't fair to you. No, Mark agreed. But it was human. They stood there, facing each other with honesty neither of them had allowed before. What do you want now? Mark asked. Emily hesitated. I don't know. That's okay, he said. But we need to stop pretending nothing changed tonight. She nodded slowly. Mark took a deep breath. Daniel called me last week. Our eyes widened. He what? He found my number, Mark said. He said he needed to see you. I told him no at first. Then why invite him? Because he said something that stuck with me, Mark replied. He said he left without giving you the truth and that you deserved it, even if it changed everything. Emily sat back down, her legs feeling weak. And you believed him. I believed you deserved closure. Mark said. Silence filled the room again. But this time it wasn't heavy. It felt open, like something waiting to be filled. What happens to us? Emily asked quietly. Mark didn't rush to answer. That depends on honesty. From both of us. She nodded. I need time. You have it, he said, without hesitation. That night sleep didn't come easily. Emily lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every word, every look. Daniel's voice. Mark's calm strength. The truth sitting between them like an open book. By morning. Her mind was clearer, but her heart was heavier. She made coffee. Mark joined her, the routine strangely comforting. I think I need to talk to him again. Hush, she said finally. Mark looked at her, searching her face. Are you sure? No, she admitted. But I know I'll regret it if I don't. He nodded. Then do it. Later that day, Emily met Daniel at a quiet park near the water. The sky was gray, but the rain held off. Daniel stood when he saw her, nervous but hopeful. Thank you for coming, he said. I needed answers, Emily replied. They walked slowly along the path. I never meant to hurt you, Daniel said. I just didn't know how to be the man you deserved. You don't get to decide that alone, Emily replied. I know that now. She stopped walking. Why didn't you come back sooner? Daniel looked out at the water. Because I saw your wedding photo online. You looked happy. I didn't want to disturb that. Emily's chest tightened. Happiness isn't the same as closure. I see that, he said. She studied his face, noticing how familiar it still felt. Do you still love me? Daniel didn't hesitate. Yes, but that doesn't mean I expect anything. She nodded. I needed to hear that. They talked for a long time. About mistakes. About growth. About the people they had become when they stood to leave. Emily felt lighter. Not because everything was solved, but because nothing was hidden anymore. That evening, she returned home to Mark. I met him, she said. Mark nodded. How do you feel? Clear, she replied. And grateful. For what? For honesty, she said. For you. Mark smiled softly. Then we're on the right path. Emily knew nothing was guaranteed. Love wasn't simple. Life didn't come with easy endings, but for the first time in years, she felt present in her own story. The past had knocked on her door. She had finally answered.